For nearly a month, Buster Murdaugh has been sitting silently in court behind his father, hearing dozens of witnesses share painful details about the murder of his mother, Maggie, and younger brother, Paul. On Tuesday, it was his turn on the stand.
I was in shock.
What kind of condition was he in? What was his demeanor?
Yeah, his demeanor was, he was destroyed. He was heartbroken. I walked in the door and saw him and gave him a hug and just broken down.
The defense hoping Buster's testimony could poke holes in the state's evidence, including videos showing Alec wearing different clothing in the hours just before and after Maggie and Paul's murders.
How frequently would your dad take a shower or a bath?
He could take them a lot. Working out there, if he goes outside and sweats a lot.
Buster also disagreeing with investigators who say they heard his father say in an interview, quote, "I did him so bad," referring to Paul.
It was so bad. So bad.
What'd your dad say?
Said they did him so bad.
The jury also hearing from a forensic engineer hired by the defense who discussed the trajectory of bullets used in Maggie and Paul's murders, using 3D computer scanning technology, depicting the shooter with the gun at their hip and telling the court he believed they would have been between 5'2" and 5'4", a foot shorter than Alec Murdaugh.
In my opinion, it's very unlikely that he fired that shot.
Prosecutors taking direct aim at the witnesses' credibility.
No pathology, no firearms, no shotgun-specific training other than anecdotal shooting a shotgun. None of that. No formal trainings. Is that correct?
I would disagree.
Even using a tape measure and the engineer's own trajectories to question his assessment about the shooter's height, suggesting the person could have been crouching or standing further away.
Right there?
Yes.
I'm glad we could demonstrate those heights to the jury. Thank you.
Buster Murdaugh also testifying that he was aware of his father's opioid addiction and that Alex Murdaugh actually checked into a detox facility in 2018 to try and get clean. The defense expected to have more expert witnesses today. They say they hope to wrap their case by the end of the week. Savannah?
All right, Katie, thank you. I want to turn to today's legal expert, Lisa Green. Lisa, good morning. Interesting to have the surviving son testify on his father's behalf. Partly it's about what he said and what he testifies to. Part of it is just the fact that he's there and supporting his father.
Yesterday was a hearts and minds day for this jury, and we can talk about the minds later. That's the expert witness. But on the heart side, we're all children. And to see this young man in court, he's very young, supporting his father every day, taking the stand, in a way clearing up some of the discrepancies in the testimony. I know a lot of people think he wasn't that emotional. I think for the jury, that's going to matter much less than the fact that this son, who's lost his mother, his only brother, supports his father, who's, accused of murder in this case.
Let's talk about the investigator that the defense put on, an expert who, I think the key testimony is that someone as tall as Alec Murdaugh, according to this expert, could not have fired the shots that killed the victims in this case. Did they make any headway there?
I mean, I think they made some, but as many people have pointed out, we all have knees, right? So everyone can crouch, and Murdaugh himself could have crouched and fired these shots. But Savannah, what these defense experts are trying to do is chip away and create reasonable doubt in the mind of one juror. So the standard isn't for the defense to create its own bulletproof, if you will, narrative. It's simply to give the jurors food for thought. So when they're in the jury room, if one juror says, yeah, I know they chipped away at the defense's expert, but seems plausible to me, the prosecution has a real problem.
It only takes one. Has the prosecution been able to pull some of these strands together in terms of the timeline, in terms of the voice on the tape that was at the kennels when Alec Murdaugh said he was nowhere near that, at the very moments before the killings occurred?
I think that technology timeline is very powerful, and we all know that we're followed around by our phones and pings, and yet here we are with really solid evidence that would suggest it would be very difficult for Alec Murdaugh's, alibi to stand. That said, the prosecution has really, I think, not done a great job in providing a motive. That's not their obligation. But as you listen to all the testimony, a question that could be in jurors' minds is, why do it?
Yeah, well, they've claimed it's because of the financial problems. We'll see if the jury considers that to be sufficient. All right, Lisa, thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.